Hello Kita Queens and Kita Beauty Teas. I'm back with another client tutorial on one of my favorite hood rats. No, but for real, we about to step right into this tutorial. I'm starting it off by cleaning my model's face, and I went ahead and filled in her eyebrows off camera. So I'm taking these two concealers from RK by Kiss and I'm using them to clean up her brows. First, I'm going in with the lightest shade and I'm using it to clean up underneath her arch. Sorry I didn't really get any footage of me filling in her brows, y'all. At that point, I feel like I was talking too much, so I didn't really get good angles with the filming. I promise y'all next time it will be better. But if you are an OG on my channel, then you should remember this face, because this used to be one of my go-to models, period. Then sis got busy, she had to work and all that, but she's back, y'all. So we just about to get right into it. As y'all can see, I went ahead and buffed that concealer out using my buffing brush. Now I'm just cleaning up the top of her brows using that darker concealer, and it's in the shade Toast. I'm going back in with my buffing brush and I'm using it to buff out that concealer once again. Now I'm just going to follow the same procedure on the other side. So once again, I'm taking the shade Fawn and I'm using it to clean up under her arch. Then for the remainder of the way, I'm just going to be going in with the shade Toast. Now that her brows are nice and clean, I'm going to go in with my Dermablend Translucent powder and I'm going to use this to set / lighten the front of her eyebrows. Once that's finished, I'm taking my Bperfect eyeshadow primer and I'm applying this all over her lids. You want to make sure you apply a generous amount and then just buff everything out as evenly as possible. So the primer is on. It's time to get into this makeup. The first eyeshadow shade that I'm taking is the brown shade from the Juvias Zulu palette, and I'm using this as my transition. So first I'm packing this on the outer edge of her eye using this blending brush just to build up my color as evenly as possible. And now that the color is built up, I'm going to start dragging this up towards the front of her eyebrows. Y'all, please excuse the talking. I promise you we weren't talking the whole video, but I missed her just a little bit, so we had to talk a little bit at the beginning. But as you're about to see, it's gonna come to a halt. Now I'm taking this dark brown eyeshadow from my Morphe x Jaclyn Hill palette and I'm packing this on the outer edge of her eye. I would show y'all the exact shades that I use on camera, but unfortunately majority of my palettes are cracked. So to avoid any type of mess or any type of mishap, I just decide not to include them in the video. But if you want to know which shade this is, it's the second darkest shade that's in the palette. I'm taking that blending brush and I'm going over the dark brown just to further blend out the edges. Then I'm going to repeat that same process on the other side. Now it's time to cut this crease, honey. Okay, I'm using my e.l.f. Camo concealer to cut her crease, and it's the matte one. It's in the shade Fair Rose, and I like to cut the crease using a small detailed flat brush. I feel like that's how you would get the most neat and precise cut crease, and I make sure I take my time with it just because this is a very tedious step. Once I have the shape close to my liking, I'm just going to buff the concealer out, and once it's all buffed, I'm going to go back in and make any type of adjustments that I may need to make to the cut crease. So this is the outcome of one side, and I'm satisfied with it, so I'm going to move on and go ahead and cut this side. So this is what the cut creases are looking like once they're all buffed out. I'm going to go ahead and blend out the edges using my dark brown from the Jaclyn Hill x Morphe palette, and I'm just applying it to her cut crease using this blending brush. Now I'm going in with this bright yellow shade from my Lash Spice palette, and I'm just applying this to the remaining areas of her cut crease. I know y'all can't see it on camera, but she had on this really pretty yellow top, and it was just the inspiration for this whole look, because most of the time when I have a model sit in my chair, I don't even know what I want to do. So yeah, sometimes I like to just draw inspiration from whatever color scheme they have on, and I was really feeling the yellow, so I'm happy that she decided to wear that, because I wouldn't have known what to do if she didn't. But I'm packing this on her eyes using this e.l.f. eyeshadow brush, and then I'm going back in with that dark brown and I'm blending out the edges. Notice how I kept the inner corners blank just because we're going to be putting something there right now. I'm taking this pigment from Ashley Lee Cosmetics, and it's in the color Silver Milky Way. If you watch any of my other client tutorials, then you know I love this pigment. But I'm focusing it in the inner corners of her eyes. Then I'm taking whatever is left on the brush and just applying it on top of the yellow. And I decided to add an accent line, y'all. Yep, an accent line. So I'm taking my white liquid liner from Fenty, and I'm just trying to get this line as neat and thin and precise as possible. So I was really concentrating with this step, y'all. Okay, y'all, so this is what the lines are looking like. Nice and neat, if I do say so myself. I think they came out really well. And now I'm just going to take my Wet n Wild black liquid liner, and I'm going to use it to draw a line across her eyes, and I'm going to blend it into the eyeshadow. I was going to do another white accent line on top of that one, but I was just like, nah, I like this look how it is, and I didn't want to mess nothing up. I'm going in with some black and dark brown eyeshadow, and I'm using it to blend out the edge of this liner. The pigment wasn't doing enough for me, so I decided to add this fine iridescent glitter on top of it just to make it shine a little bit more. Moving on to the face, I went ahead and cleaned and moisturized her face off camera. Now I'm just taking my calamine lotion and I'm applying it to the areas of her skin that typically get the oiliest, so I'm mainly focusing this in the T-zone. Once I have it all applied, I'm gonna go over everything using my damp Real Technique sponge, and I'm just using it to thin out this product. For her foundations, I decided to go in with the shades Deep Golden and Nutmeg from the Fit Me Matte and Poreless collection. Sorry I forgot to show them on camera, but I'm just mixing the two together onto her face. To blend these two shades together, I'm using my foundation brush. I included the details on this brush in my last client tutorial, so if you're interested, I recommend you go back to that one and check the description box. But I'm just pressing this into her skin, and look how good it melted, y'all. Like, that was just the perfect concoction. To highlight her face, I went in with the shade Fawn from the Arcade by Kiss concealer, and I mixed it with a little bit of her foundation to get the perfect shade. To blend out the concealers, I'm going back over everything using that foundation brush. Before I blend out the concealer under her eyes, I'm going to go ahead and contour her face. And to contour, I'm using my Juvias Place foundation stick, and it's in the shade Katsina. To blend it out, I'm going to be going back in with my foundation brush. Y'all should know by now that I really love this brush, and I'm just tapping everything in place. I'm taking a little bit more of that contour stick on a eyeshadow brush, and I'm using it to sculpt out her nose. Now I'm just blending out the concealer under her eyes, and to do so I'm using my Real Technique sponge. To set the concealer in place, I'm using my Fit Me pressed powder, and it's in the shade Toffee. To set the contoured areas of her face, I'm going in with my Black Radiance pressed powder, and this is in the shade Black Coffee. I'm taking the orange blush from my Juvias Place Saharan blush palette, and I'm applying it to the apples of her cheeks. I'm going to line her waterline using some black gel liner, and I'm taking it on a Q-tip just to make the application a little easier and quicker. For her lashes, I decided to go in with some 25 millimeters, and I cut them to fit her eyes off camera. I purchased these from AliExpress. I really recommend everybody purchases their lashes from AliExpress. They have good prices, and you can buy them in wholesale. Now moving on, I went ahead and cleaned up her piercings. You do not want to forget that with a client. I also ended up doing her bottom lashes off camera. Now we're moving on to the lips. So y'all already know I'm doing a new ombre lip, okay? At this point, y'all should already know, okay? It's nothing new. So I'm lining her lips using my LA Colors dark brown eyebrow pencil, and since I'm doing an ombre lip, I'm going to outline her lips first, and then I'm going to go back in and fill in the corners. For the center of her lips, I'm going in with this lip gloss from KolorMeHappi off Instagram, and it's in the color number 5. Y'all, this is my all-time favorite lip gloss. Like, it's definitely in the top 3. And as I said, it's KolorMeHappi on Instagram, and that is color with the K and happy with an I. I will have their Instagram name in the description box down below. But yeah, I worked that lip gloss into the center of her lips, and I went ahead and sprayed her face off camera. Now we're getting into the grand reveal, so I'm just gonna let y'all watch.
You ready to see?
Yeah. Ooh.
Cause purr.
Cause purr. Me and my little swirl. Okay. I'm just examining. It looks great. I still will be surprised I even have bottom lashes.
Okay, queens, this is the end of this video, and as you could tell by her reaction, this tutorial was another success. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. These are a few clips that I took on my phone. If you would like to see more client content, feel free to visit my Instagram. A link will be in the description box down below. But that's the end of this video. Bye bye, queens. She had a little announcement to make at the end, so I'm just gonna let her get into it.
And I just wanted to say I'm back, and y'all not with me. Make sure you drink that up.
Yeah.